Hey guys, I'm Sdanwolf and welcome back to the channel. And my gosh, do we have so much to do in so little time, or do we have so little to do in so much time? I don't know. Maybe that one sounds maybe that sounds a little better. But we have started on the Lion's Den, and we've started on the second coaster, and a lot has happened in the safari park this week. Haven't got to really update you guys a lot on Twitter and Instagram this week necessarily, but I've been working away. I've been plugging away at it here in the evenings a little bit, and we've got a pretty good bit to show for it. As a matter of fact, I only recorded like maybe an hour worth of time lapse, and I went ahead and condensed it down to probably this first 6 minutes because we've got a lot. Once you see when we go into the real time, we have got a lot to go over and a lot to cover. And then of course we like to do our little review section, our little review part where we go around the whole park and show everybody that might be new what we've been up to. And speaking of that, don't forget, we've got a playlist of the safari park set up right now on the channel. So right now, if you're really bored, I've got it's a little over 3.5 hours if you combine the whole safari playlist together. You've got about 3.5 hours of content, 3.5 hours of watch time that you can dive into if you're new to the series here. So basically, to give you the gist of it, it started out probably, I don't even remember, maybe this past August. We were just kind of doing a little experiment, and then fast forward to like a month ago. A little bit after the TMTK, the Theme Maker's Toolkit came out, and Dead-Eye Duck started putting animals on the workshop. And that kind of really got us back into it. And then, of course, with Mass Bandit and Jonty starting Uzuri Gardens, that just really opened the floodgates. So, yeah, to give you the backstory, once that park started, we had a lot of focus and attention brought back to animals, and these modelers bringing in these animals, and that is basically what's made this whole series possible, because I was pretty much at a stopping point. Like, I had the crows, I had the crocodiles, I had the hippos, and that was pretty much it. Remember, I used to have a shark lagoon in this park. Like, I was really just kind of grasping at straws, trying to come up with animal enclosures. And then I actually even just kind of started making implied enclosures. Like, we were just really kind of hoping, for a Planet Safari expansion or, something of that sort. But then when the TMTK came out, early on in that, I was wondering if people would maybe start making, animals. And sure enough, I think the very first animal that came out was a dog. And then, I knew that hopefully people would start down that path of creating us animals. And thanks to people like, Dead-Eye Duck and Misread Nebula, even back in the earlier days, Castaway with he started out with dinosaurs, and he did some camels too. And in the real-time section, I'll show you, I finally have us a little camel exhibit, so that'll be fun to have the guests be able to enjoy. And speaking of little exhibits, like, a lot of people say, oh man, these exhibits, they're kind of small for what, like, they're kind of small for the animals. Well, if you look around in a lot of real zoos, the enclosures are kind of small. So I think as far as we go, and in this safari park build, I think we give the animals here a pretty large. We give them pretty large enclosures here. When you start looking at zoos around the world and just all the type of enclosures that the animals have, I think they would live pretty decent lives here, like as good as they could. And as far as not being in the wild, and maybe if we want to put a spin on them, like not being cooped up, maybe a majority of these could be like you know, recovered animals that couldn't survive in the wild, and maybe they bring them here. So I always said this, if you think of this park, think of it as like a mixture. If Animal Kingdom and Busch Gardens had a baby, that's what this park would be. So really, really high budget. I mean, obviously this coaster right here, and all this terrain, you're looking at over $20 million, I'd say. You know, kind of combining this terrain coaster with all of the foliage and the you know, just the rock work and the massive mountain, well over $20-30 million right here. So don't really look at this zoo as a budget conscious type zoo. That is definitely not what we're aiming for here, and that is not in the true Sdanwolf spirit. We are not constrained by money here. But anyways, so let's go ahead and I will show you. We'll jump into the real time. I've got a lot more work done on this coaster. And yeah, we'll just kind of zoom around and show you the Lions area and show you future plans and kind of all of what we have going on in the safari park. So let's check this out. All right, guys, so here we are. And I finally have us a, you know, a somewhat proper coaster going. So I've actually switched the direction of the train because I thought it looked a little cooler, kind of having the train when it comes into Namboa. It kind of makes its way over off to the right into the tunnel, kind of like an underground station or an inside the mountain station over there. And then it looks a lot better kind of facing us, kind of leaving the town that way. So that is kind of what I went for on this. So Namboa, it basically encompasses the Lions area. It's kind of like it's a little town, a little village that is at the base of Lions Peak, and that's kind of what I'm going for with the coaster here. And then of course the reason we're doing that is because we actually have the Lion Sanctuary started, the Lion's Den. So we still got a lot of walls to put up. You know, I've got to create some kind of backstage area for them. But yeah, so I basically went with the Vector coaster, the Launch Vector. I really like the way it looks. I love that style of track. Now you guys know I am not a coaster designer. Actually, you know the one thing I suck the most at with coasters, and please don't say everything. Be nice out there. That is station design. Yeah, I am just horrible at building coasters and coaster stations, but I had a lot of fun with this. I think it worked out okay. You know, we have the little family coaster on the other side of the park, and I've been wanting to get in another coaster, and it all just ended up falling into place kind of here in Namboa. So when you think of Namboa, just think of like a like I was saying on Twitter about a week ago, a real just gritty, fast-paced type of train, you know, like a train station town, like the train comes through and drops off all type of mysterious travelers, and you know, you've got different shops and a whole little like a Zimbabwe type of town slash village, bustling village type vibe. So lots of different stuff going on. I'm having a lot of fun with it. And actually, the whole back side of this market, I never got to use before because if you remember, I built this for Wow Man's Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, his kind of Star Wars land build. And this was a market for that I built for him. So what I did was I kind of came in and took out most of my little alien props, and yeah, I've made this like Namboa's little little back alley type of shopping district. So if we flip it over at night, you can see the snakes and stuff really good. But yeah, so we've got like these little we got these little exhibits. We've got the insects. We've got the snakes, and yeah, it just, if you go back through here, it's just like I wanted it even with the Galaxy's Edge stuff, and it works out perfect here in the safari park, just being like a mysterious type of marketplace. And I think we catch that vibe really, really cool. And then of course, I love the angel statue here from the TMTK, and then we've got the we've got the train tunnel there, kind of weaves back through there, and then of course you will access Lion's Peak from inside of that shopping center. So the queue will actually make its way through that mountain over to the station, and I figure there could be like an exiting gift shop in there. And I've kind of been going back and forth too about making a piece of road, kind of maybe cross over right here and connect to this road. Maybe put up some flashers. In a train. There goes the train into the tunnel. Kind of a train into the, like train barriers that you can cross through. But another thing, too, that I thought was cool to maybe just have it where they have to walk down through here is I get more interaction on this side of Namboa. And because if we make them walk down through here, I think that would give a really cool look to watch them move down through the town section and then back into the market from that way. In order to get to Lion's Peak. So yeah, that is kind of what I have going on in this section. So it's kind of like I said, just think of a really really gritty is the word I've been using, fast-paced type of village over here. And then of course we've got the Lion's Peak coaster to kind of complement and kind of cover in the back end of the area. I put in a little fence right here because I figured maybe just a little bit for safety, like if somebody were to try to jump off the train or if somebody were to try to jump one of the fences and wander over this way, at least a little bit of a barrier would stop them, maybe at least like as far as little kids and stuff go, maybe before they were spotted by security. So got a little bit of just a chain link barrier right there, stopping just randomness from wandering out kind of here into the coaster area. Got the first little main drop here. Really like the terrain element that I've kind of created here instead of just letting this be out in the open. Brought in the waterfall kind of pouring from the upper pool down into this lagoon. But yeah, I really like how the train worked out. We've got, like the train, it's just, it's so much more coverage now. And I think the experience for the train riders is so cool now that they don't just totally come through the safari and then turn around and leave. They've kind of got this whole little area. So, basically they start way over here, kind of at the exit of the Cliffside Market. They get on right there, and the train brings them through the whole safari. And I did end up getting dead-eye ducks rhinos in here, so they have a little part on the safari. And you guys are saying what was kind of cool is if I could incorporate the savanna animals, just kind of make it to where they can't, like the rhinos can't get over here and like stomp the zebras or like get into a fight with the giraffes, if that would be a thing. To cause that trouble. So they're in the savannah, but I've kind of got them in their own little area. So they have their own little sanctuary up here that they can they got their own little pool and their shade and vegetation. So the trucks can see them. The trucks can come by and stop, and you can look across. And the train, as you're on the train from both sides, those guests can look over and can see the rhinoceroses as well. So then the train makes its way through here, and it actually makes its way over this little canyon, which I think up this way. I know I'm kind of like squirrel. I'm kind of bouncing all over the place, but I've just got a lot to talk about and show. I think this is kind of going to be like the chimpanzee gorilla kingdom up here. So the back set of it, maybe we'll get some buildings and shops on the back of Lion's Peak, kind of like on the back of the mountain over here, and up out this way will be all the, I know Dead-Eye Duck is working on chimpanzees and FSF Ranger has a gorilla, but I think that will be kind of like the Congo, gorilla kingdom area kind of out there, and we'll have some mountains and stuff kind of blocking off that area. And yeah, so basically, like I said, still lots of work left to do on the lion area. Deadeye has brought us in these awesome male lions, but he's told me that he's working on females. He's working on cubs and different, like, you know, the like laying down positions, just lounging around. So we'll scatter some more about once he wraps up on those, and then of course probably wall this off a little and finish this, you know, finish the lion's den, the lion's enclosure. So yeah, guys, like I said, just let me know what you think about the whole Namboa area. I think it works out really, really cool. Let's go ahead. I'll take you for a little ride on this. Sorry for the frames. The park, you know, the park is massive. So, you know, there's a lot of piece count. So, you know, you're just going to have to kind of bear with me with the frames. It's starting to chug a little bit. So, but I think we'll get through it. I can still build, with the, you know, on low settings. So that is just something we'll kind of have to work with. If you don't follow me on Twitter and you didn't catch the Frontier Extra live stream that they did yesterday, Shantae did come out and say that at the beginning of March, Planet Coaster is going to be releasing a quality of life update. So they said they're going to fix the. They said they'll fix the yeah, we're really bogging down right here. They said we will fix they're fixing a lot of the TMTK issues. The loading screen, the menus loading really, really slow, like as far as your scenery, buildings, you know, flipping back and forth to those, going slow. So apparently all of that, it has a fix coming. In the form of an early March update. And then as she said that, Bo kind of chimed in and said that don't take that as the only update coming for Planet Coaster like in the next 3 months. So I'm thinking with her saying that, hopefully we're going to get a DLC in March. I mean, let's not beat around the bush. I think in the early part of March, we will get that quality of life update that Shantae mentioned. And then, like I said, why would Bo say, but don't think that's the only thing coming. So I really think we will get some DLC, probably maybe towards the end of March. So definitely, you know, subscribe and keep up with the channel for all the news on that. I try to bring you the breaking news, you know, whenever they release it. So as soon as I know more, you guys will know more. And so, yeah, exciting times ahead, an exciting March ahead. And so, yeah, so let's go ahead like we always do. Let's kind of peer back and let's take everybody through the land, through the park. So if we start here at the beginning, this used to have kind of like a little entrance area, and I deleted all that because I want to go back and do like a safari main street eventually. And all of this over here is going to be saved for a massive, massive parking lot that I want to get done. So I think that will be really, really cool. And then you come in after you leave Main Street, the first thing you'll come up is Mina's Cafe here, a little coffee shop. And then, of course, all of this, you know, all of this right here will be filled in with buildings. And you'll make your way up through here. And we've got the Hippo Exhibit. Now, I have to give it to you. Some people were saying the Hippo Exhibit is kind of small. It is kind of small, so I was figuring maybe we could use this as kind of like an interchangeable exhibit. We could get them out of here. And I thought maybe this little area, if I could shallow up that water maybe a little more, maybe bring in Misread Nebula's flamingos and have a little flamingo area kind of going on right here. So really, really think it'd be fun with that. And then the little flamingos could kind of walk underneath the path and get over here on the dry land and in the little bit of mud. So may go ahead and pull the hippos out of there and get them a proper enclosure somewhere else in the park. Over here is the Pinnacle, another little shopping area with a lot of really more like a big food court, more so than a shopping area. Then got some restrooms, got a Hats Fantastic, so the guests can kind of meander their way through that little area. If you turn over here, this is the big jumbo house, the big welcome house. The guests can go in there. They can get their maps. They can ask questions. They can make dinner reservations. You know, if we end up doing like you can book your like private viewings as far as the nature centers go and like the elephant exhibits and stuff like that. So, you know, all of that can be done kind of like right as you enter the park and into the welcome house. one of the first exhibits, one of the bigger exhibits that you come up to is Croc Cove. So yes, this is where our saltwater crocodile exhibit is. So they are kind of scattered out all over the place here. Really, really fun exhibit. And you can kind of walk around right pretty close to them, you know, just a little elevated above them. We've got another little island out here where they can kind of take care of sick crocs, or if they have to do any kind of veterinary work, stuff like that, that can be handled out there. If you make your way over here to the far right side of the park, we've got a little family coaster here, kind of like a little archaeology type build. Really, really fun little coaster. Right down the road from our first coaster is the adventure stage. So you've got like the little guys here doing all the, you know, the stunts and the explosions, and, you know, think Indiana Jones type theater there. We still need to work on getting some shade for the guests so they're not sitting here like getting pummeled by the sun. So really, really, really cool stuff on that. If you make your way a little farther down here, we've got the Safari Depot that takes you out in, essentially, in its namesake, out into the safari. So yeah, we've got the little, we've got the little Kilimanjaro type trucks down here, and the guests can load up on those platforms, and they take them out into our little safari here. So they basically go under the bridge that leads to the Cliff Cafe. We've got some standby trucks up there. And yeah, so we'll get out to the safari in a sec, but making your way across that bridge brings you over into the Cliffside Market. So really, really cool little marketplace up here. Overlooks the safari, and they've got all kinds of food and shops and souvenirs, and the whole end of the market area is anchored by Mwangas, so the big steakhouse here, kind of at the end of the street. Stop in and make your reservations, because if you don't, it's probably going to be about a 45-minute to an hour-long wait for just a walk up. And yeah, so once you kind of if you make your way out this way, we've got the whole like the safari backstage area. If they have to quarantine animals, if they have to do the, like I said, the veterinary care, weighing them, you know, all that type of stuff, it is all done right back there. And then, of course, we've got the safari, like the Serengeti Plains out here. Really, really cool. And we've got the giraffes. We've got the rhinos now. We've got a little herd of zebra. So yeah, really, really fun stuff going on, guys. I'm really, really happy with how it's turning out. If you make your way over here, we've got like the African elephant exhibit. Still got to work on the little path here so you can kind of look out to them. They've got their huge wading pool out here. Dead-Eye Duck's got us a little baby in here. Thought that was really, really cool. Got to do a little bit more work on their backstage area, you know, where they maintain them and feed them and all that. And over here, I'm kind of waiting on somebody to do some more East Asian type animals. A lot of you guys said that this would be a really cool panda exhibit, so looking at those options. Right here, this is kind of like our little East Asian area, and it houses our tiger exhibit. And then of course we've got like a little Thai restaurant right here, and we've got some little filler buildings over here to kind of make up our little East Asian facade. So really, really happy with how that turned out. Then if you make your way towards this tunnel over here, things get a little hot. We've got our brand new camel exhibit over here, so the guests can walk right by and walk up and check out the camels and see what they're up to. Thought that was a fun little exhibit, and big shout out to Castaway for bringing in the camels. And then when you move over here, kind of make your way out this way, this is the Cairo section. So we've got like our Northern Africa section with all the shops and the trinkets and the restaurants down here for the kids. I've got like a little splash pad for on these hot scorching days. Over here we have our aviary. Oh, and I almost forgot. I have to give a big shout out to Daddy Poe, who brought us these little toucans. So aren't those guys awesome? So I've kind of sprinkled them. We've got Dead-Eye Ducks, like little gray parrots. We've got some crows in here. We've got the little toucan over here doing a little show. So Daddy Poe, this is like one of the first animals I think I've seen from this creator, and that is an awesome, awesome job for the first animal. So maybe he will start working on gorillas and monkeys and stuff like that for us too, to kind of maybe gear up for, you know, Gorilla Kingdom. So once you make your way out of Mufuti's kind of like giant Egyptian pillars here, you kind of make your way to another flat ride, kind of like our magic carpet ride. My buddy Claire, she had some good ideas for names. Think I might end up using one of her names. Not totally sure yet. A lot of you guys had some really good suggestions, but one of those she said I really, really liked. So I'm thinking about getting a, you know, a cool kind of custom sign made out here for that. And a big shout out to Claire. She's a longtime supporter of the channel. And yes, once you make your way through this tunnel, it kind of breaks everything up and leads over into Namboa Square. So that is kind of like where the thrill aspect of the park really kicks into gear. Was thinking about maybe doing some kind of thrilling flat ride back this way, because I can peel off with the paths really easy. Might get something really heavy and cool back here to just kind of complement the back end area over there. And yeah, guys, so like I said, in the last exhibit I've worked on or started working on is the Lion's Den area over here. So really, really fun times ahead. And just let me know if you have any questions down below, and give me your thoughts and feedback on all this stuff, and just you know, just what your overall opinion and thoughts of it are. And like I said, any ideas that you have. So give me a big thumbs up if you end up enjoying this video, and subscribe for more Planet Coaster content. And thank you guys, and I will catch you next time. See ya.